Okay. Hi, my name is Nick. I was born in 1929. Life wasn't really any different until February 22nd of 1942. We had just entered the Holocaust, as you call it, but it didn't affect us very much because we weren't Jews. But that was before we hid my best friend, Bill, who was Jewish. Jewish. Time passed and nothing really happened. We played quietly at my room at night. But one night we got a little loud and jumpy. One of my balls bounced straight through the window. Bill quietly climbed out of the window and he ran to get the ball. I tried to get him to come back, but he refused. Suddenly, a group of green police came to him. No, seen him. Run, I yelled. He looked around and seen them and ran. I lost sight of him in just a couple of seconds, so I closed the window and ran to my mother and father's room. They sat up and asked me what was wrong. Bill, I yelled. They found Bill. They flew out of their beds, running through the house looking for him. After about 15 minutes of running around like a chicken with its head cut off, they sat me down and asked me what happened, so I explained. After explaining what was done, they stared at me. Then they reassured me and put me to bed. The next morning, I woke up early to see if he had returned. I ran outside the room to the cellar door. I opened it. The room was dark and scary, but I urged it on and walked down the stairs. I got down to the bottom of the stairs and felt around on the wall to find the light chain. As soon as I found it, I pulled it, and the room suddenly burst into life. The room wasn't much, with the exception of all the drawings on the wall. There was a small, cozy bed. Then, to the right of the bed was a bookshelf with lots of books for Bill to read. Then there was a desk across the room, but that was all. No toys or jump ropes and bikes. Suddenly, I realized why he always wanted pencils. The drawings on the walls were remarkable. There was trees, swords, stars, anything that a kid could think of. But these weren't ordinary childish drawings. They were amazing. Then suddenly something groaned in the bed. I ran towards the bed, pulled the blanket off. You could tell that he had been running. His feet are all bloody and had grass and dirt and glass all through them. He also had dirt and bruises all over his body. I had to help him, so I woke him up and helped him up and got him into the house. I sat him down as fast as I could because I knew that every second that he was on his feet, he had to be excruciatingly painful. I ran to my mother's room, who was in the bathroom. I grabbed her arm and dragged her into the living room, where I sat Bill down at. When my mother seen him, she gasped and picked him up and carried him into the room and sat him on the bed. Then, while she was getting our eggs, she told me to fill a bowl with warm water because we had to get his feet cleaned up before they got infected. So I did. Once I returned to she grabbed the bowl out of my hands, then told me to cover his mouth with my hands to muffle the screams. So I did. The screams were loud and sounded with pain. My mother kept repeating, I know, we're almost done, a little longer, but that didn't help. Almost 15 minutes later, we were finally finished. Bill was still sobbing on the bed from the pain. About 5 minutes later, we picked him up and put him in a chair so he could eat. Sadly, after he ate, we had to carry him back into the cellar. That night, Bill stayed in the cellar, so I went to bed. The night the green police broke into our house, running and yelling in German. I feared that they followed him. Bill, I mean. They came running into the room, grabbed me, and dragged me out. When I got to the living room, they tied me up to the hole that they punched into the wall with the nozzle of the gun. Then they ran into my mother's room, and a few seconds later, they came back out and with my mother and father. Suddenly, they spoke in English. Where is he? She didn't answer. Where? Suddenly, she said, are we willing to die for him? We all nodded. Answer me. She didn't answer. Suddenly, he pulled the gun to my father's head and shot. My father's body hit the floor lifeless as a box. Mother started sobbing. Tell me where he is or he's next. Then pulled the gun to my head. Then one of the soldiers mumbled something to the man. The man shook his head and pulled, but I didn't feel it. I didn't feel good. Then I felt a hand grab my chin. Tell me where he is or he's dead too, but I didn't answer. I felt the cool tip of the gun touch my forehead. Answer me, he urged, but I didn't answer. Then I heard the finger move, then bang. The truth is, Nick never survived. He was killed along with his family. I survived. Bill, I was able to get away and survive and finish Nick's journal for him. Thank you, Nick, and your family, and may God bless you.